Hello and welcome to another Make a Card Monday. So Make a Card Mondays are all about us casing a card from the catalogue. So I often get questions asked of me of, well, how did they do that and what have they used there and things like that. So each week I am on a Monday making a card from the catalogue. So I'm going to go through dimensions, I'm going to go through colours and I'm going to go through how to make it. And this week I'm focusing on this fantastic set here, Over the Moon as it's called, and I just love them. I'm not really into kind of twee colouring or anything like this. It kind of goes completely against my normal style and likes, but we're going to be copying this card here because it's just super cute and I love it. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's just get on with it and get started. So here are all my bits. So the colours that I think they've used are Granny Apple Green for the base. Now I'm a little bit, I don't know about this. I've picked Flirty Flamingo, but I'm kind of thinking it might be lighter. It might be a Blushing Bride, but I quite like this. This is good. I've got a square of Whisper White and a tiny bit of Bermuda Bay there as well. And that's all you need for this card. So it is super simple. So what we need to do is this is a piece of A5 Granny Apple Green, and literally just fold it in half to create your card base so it creates an A6 card. And that's all we need. Now I have to say, in the catalogue, this is a plain background. It does scare me a little bit. I'm feeling like I need a bit of texture. I'm feeling like I might need a bit of background stamping, but no, I'm going to go with it and just take a deep breath. So this bit of Flirty Flamingo here is 10 centimetres by 5 centimetres, which is actually 2 inches as well. And I've picked that particular size because on our triple banner punch, when you feed that through, you can feed through a 1 inch, a 1.5 or a 2 inch, and they go perfectly. Do that, you've got a perfect flag end without having to cut up the middle. Now, if you haven't got a triple banner punch, then you could just cut up the centre and then, oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's put that back. Just cut up each side. No, in fact, you can't see that, can you? Phew. And that's how you would do it. But triple banner punch, if you've got it, super, super easy. So Flirty Flamingo ink. So tone on tone stamping. So Flirty Flamingo ink onto our Flirty Flamingo banner. And we're going to make sure that some of these bits go off a bit. We're going to move it round a little bit. So it's all this random, and it's not, because then you don't have to worry that it's too straight, do you? If you were all doing it in perfect straight lines, you know that you'd get it wrong. Well, I know I would anyway. So just doing that, and that's it. That's that bit done. How easy was that? So that's, in fact, let's put that there. So that's going to go there, and that's our bit of background stamping. Then we've got a piece of Whisper White card. Now this is 8 centimetres by 8 centimetres, so it's a square. And we're going to take a couple of our stamps. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And I'm going to ink up my cow, who's doing the splits very well, I have to say. And I'm not going to do it right down the bottom because I've got a bit of tuft of grass to fit in, but I'm going to try and get them as straight as I can-ish. There we go. And then a couple of black tufts of grass. So all these stamps, as I say, are from this Over the Moon set. So this is the cow with the splits. We're also using this tuft of grass, this heart bubble, thought bubble, and, oh, dream big. But how's it going? You're utterly fantastic. Over the moon for you. And how's it going? Party till the cows come home. I just love it. I think it's cute. Right, anyway, so a couple of tufts of grass. So we've got a tuft of grass down here and a tuft of grass at the back there. There we go. And then we need our thought bubble. Now, we've had them in pink, so we need to clean that. And you can see what I'm doing there to clean my stamp. Purely professional. And in fact, what I would do is I'd just do a little, make sure there's no pink in there. No, okay, perfect. So thought bubble going up there-ish. There we go. And that's it with the black. Now I think, because they've got quite light shading, so let's bring that back in and see if I can show you that again. So it's all quite light, so they've definitely not used blends. So I've gone colouring pencils, because I don't think it's Stampin' White markers, it's not Stampin' Blends, so I have gone, there we go, the 4 coloured pencils. Now these are super soft pencils and I love them. So Bermuda Bay for the blue, Granny Apple Green for the green, a basic black which kind of looks a bit grey, and Flirty Flamingo here as well. In fact, let's put my Flirty Flamingo away because that is done. So super light. So let me show you, give you an idea. So this is, so you can go really light to really dark. And look at the difference in those. So I'm going to go super light. So, and I'm not the best colourer in the world at all. But that heart's going to be quite reasonably dark. But I'm going to leave a circle of white, just kind of give that kind of 3D dimension feeling that we have there. And that'll do. Now, I'm going to go super, super light on the snout. So barely touching it. And I'm not going to do this perfectly, and you'll see why in a minute. So there you go. So just, so look at that. Can you see the differences there? I've gone super hard on, well not super hard, but harder on that. Very, very light on that, and not bothered about it being too particular. So let's go onto the grass. And again, I'm going super light, not being perfect. Just. Now, I say I'm not going perfect because what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to go over this with a blender pen. Now, this is a blender pen, not a blends, not the alcohol blends marker. A bit more up here. And then I'm going to go a bit darker. So same pencil, but look at the difference. There we go. So can you see that? So not perfect at all, but good enough. Let's go blue. So again, super light. Oh, that's a bit darker than I would have liked. And I'm just very, very faintly. Literally, I'd put any pressure on this at all. I think I'm going to go, it doesn't go all the way to the top, the picture. And in fact, I think I've probably gone a little bit wider as well. There we go. And then I'm using the basic black, which would be really black, but I'm going to go light. So, lightish. For the blobs, which are all there, or spots if you like. I think we'll have a black tail and a black haircut, and then of course black hooves there as well. I might go pink bell. I might go a bit harder on this. Okay, and that's all the colouring you need to do. So this is our blender pen, sorry, I'm talking the wrong bits myself now. It's just clear, it's got some clear solution in there. And what it does, so if you like that look, that just watercolour penciled look, that is fine and that would be perfect. But what I'm going to do is just use this blend. Now this is just a normal piece of Whisper White, so I can't go over it that much because it will start to, oh, you know, when the paper rolls up. And there we go, we'll just blend that in a bit more. Just fade it down. There we go, can you see those Flirty Flamingo bits there? And then I just, when I've finished, I just wipe it on there. And then we're gonna, and this is why you don't have to be perfect with your colouring with the pencil. You're almost just adding colour to the area rather than putting it in properly. Because the proper colouring, getting it in all the spaces that you need, is done with this blender pen here. There you go, look at that. You see how it's much clearer now, you haven't got the lines. It will show, it's get rid of that black. It will show a little bit more on the green. Now I'm just going to go over the green grass. I'm not going to go over those green clumps of grass because I want them to still be quite dark. And you can see I'm not taking forever over this. I don't want too much of the liquid to get on this paper so it rolls. I don't, that was not a do. And you don't want to get on the black because otherwise you'll have streaks of black going across this. There we go. Can you see the difference there? If I hold that up, you can see it's just a little bit more blended, and in fact I might go a little bit more around there. There we go. And I'll do the blue sky first, I think. So just blends it in a little bit, makes it a bit more subtle. A bit softer. I might just do those bits there now. There you go. So this kind of turns any watercolour pencil into a marker pen. And there's our kind of finished colouring. Can you see how it's more subtle now? You can't see quite so many of the colouring strokes, but I've just left it very subtle. Very subtle. So now we're on to our sentiment. So this sentiment is Dream Big. And we've got this tiny piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock. I'm using Bermuda Bay ink. I might have to trim this, but we'll see how accurate I get it. It's always the pressure. That's not too bad. I do want to trim it up a little bit. So this piece was, what is it, 3.5 by 1.5. But actually I'm just going to get my scissors now, and you could leave it like that, but I'm kind of thinking there's a little bit too big a gap there, so I'm just going to trim it with my scissors. Bit brave, isn't it? Trimming with scissors. It's a little bit of paper, so it won't really show. That'll do. That's good. That's good. So trimmed it down, and it's now probably not straight, don't look closely, nearer 2.5 by just under 1.5. So this is just stuck on flat, so a bit of Tombow, and it just hangs off the side very, very slightly. Oh, I'll tell you what I haven't done. There we go. Now, on the picture, there's a dotted line going across. Now, I'm going to say that is pierced. So, we used to have templates years ago where we could just literally pop our pokey tool through a template as such, template of dots, and there were straight lines and wavy lines and all sorts of things. Now, I can't for the life of me find my pokey tool. There's one, that'll do. Okay, so, but I don't trust myself to be able to put dots along the lines and make them straight, make them the right distance apart. So just literally got my ruler, decided where I wanted them. So I want them about there. I just got some kind of, I've just found my pen now. You could mark it or you could just go straight in. So I'm going to go every 0.5 centimetre. So 0.5 centimetre, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5. There we go. And oh, it just adds a little bit more decoration. Now you could have done it all the way round. This is just a mouse mat, so this is my mouse mat turned upside down, but make sure you've got something that you can go into, whether it's a piece of plastic foam or whatever, just gives you that base to do that. And this is just any old pokey tool. And you could do a needle. If you haven't got a pokey tool, you could use a needle or anything with a sharp point on. Right, so let's stick this down. That's our Flirty Flamingo flag. Oh, Flirty Flamingo flag. And it's about there, give or take. And I will put our cow on dimensionals. These are dimensionals from a kit, which is why it's so big. The sheets are big, but waste not, want what, use them all up. Ooh, now this, I've just done normal Whisper White, so it's quite bendy. You might want to do watercolour paper. You might want to do a shimmery white. They're a little bit more robust, but I knew I wasn't going to go over and over and over. So let's put him about there, I think. Make sure he's straight. I'm using my grid paper to line it up, so at least the main card is straight while I'm trying to line it up. And what do we think? Is that a close enough representation to that? I don't think that's bad at all. Do you? Let's get rid of that one. Those two there. That's it. So, Over the Moon, just £19 for how many steps? 11 stamps and colouring pencils. But as I say, you could colour it with whatever you had there as well. Just something that will give you kind of light and dark. Or you might like the more saturated colour feel, in which case you can colour it with whatever you would like. And that's it. I'm going to leave it there, and I'll be back next Monday with another Make a Card Monday.